What's up, guys? Got another video for you today. Let's jump right into it. So what we have here is proper archetype. Um, Four archetypes that I put into a list. Of course, it's 61, so it can't actually be played. But the reason for this is with all the generic stuff going on, like Snake Eyes basically being a generic deck. You got all the generic synchro monsters and whatnot. Things like this, Altergeist, this is a proper archetype. Okay? It has things that operate with within itself, and also you can't really splash it into anything else. There's a few exceptions. Like you can definitely splash Altergeist in with Subterra. Subterra doesn't specialize, or at least Guru Control doesn't specialize in special summoning. So you can throw Guru down, put Guru on the field, put a Fiendus in hand, put a Final Battle on the field, and if you got what's his face, the Hidden City and whatnot or whatever, and you got a multi-faker in your hand, well, guess what? That Final Battle can activate every single time to open up for faker. That means you got a guaranteed faker as long as you got one in hand popping off every single round. At least special summoning herself, at the very least. Um, but also, but basically, all this stuff basically operates with Altergeist stuff itself. Look at this. This you can put in with other stuff, but to use its graveyard effect, it summons it searches an Altergeist monster. Cool. What do their link monsters do? Their link monsters, Altergeist monsters. You can't use other monsters unless you're using something like um, this to basically steal a monster and transform it into an Altergeist monster. But in order to get this on the field, you need four Altergeist monsters. Now, there's another card that can turn a Link monster into an Altergeist monster, and that's this one, which doesn't really see any play. But other than that, you have to use all Altergeist monsters. That's great because now we have restrictions. Even with Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker has a fantastic effect, but guess what? It has restrictions. You bring somebody out, she can summon herself all she wants. But to bring another person out from the deck, now you're locked into only special summoning Altergeist. Can you imagine if that restriction was removed from Multi-Faker? That would mean that you could activate Multi-Faker, take a card, and in the same turn, activate Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. You know how insane that is? Activate Lord of the Heavenly Prisons, put a card on the field, and if you got Admina on the field and you haven't used her Snatch Steal yet, the card that he puts down, Lord of the Heavenly Prisons, can be Revitalization. And if you throw Revitalization down and she's discarding it, well, guess what? Now you can normal summon again by banishing this from the graveyard. So that restriction is there to keep balance so things don't get too overpowered. Let's also keep in mind that even with this having the restriction on it, this card was played at one. It was limited to one. Let's look at Dragon Maid. Dragon Maid is another thing. Archetype. Now, people have splashed it in with other things or whatever. Um, their restrictions more so come with uh, what type of dragons they can bring out, what kind of dragons they can bring out, um, what dragons they can send to the grave for the most part. Where's the other one? Yeah, if all monsters you control are dragon made, everybody gets the attack boost, but it only works while the dragon made people are on the field. And when you take a monster from the graveyard, you can only grab a dragon made monster or dragon made card. All Subterra monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense for each set monster on the field. Now, yes, they're getting the attack boost for each set monster, but only they are um, gaining that effect. Unlike this one, this one is dependent on the dragon maids being on the field, and everybody benefits from the boost. Well, all of your monsters benefit from the boost, but this one only the Subterra monsters benefit from the boost. Only the Subterra monsters benefit from bringing something from out of the grave with an attack. Okay, you can only search Subterra monsters. These are what archetypes should look like. Let's look at Wind Witch. You control no monsters. Well, we know what this does. Once you get this going, if you have this and something else in your hand, and you do the full combo where you have all five of the cards on the field from Wind Witch, guess what? You're locked into only synchro summoning wind monsters. Where is it? You're not special summon for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. Well, not synchro summoning wind monsters, but you're locked into only special summoning wind monsters. That's fair. Not that these are particularly great. I mean, you need a nice setup. This is mainly for like a burn deck. Uh, I have a little experimental deck that I play with for fun. Um, and basically, I could pop two cards every time with this one, while also being immune to card destruction and battle destruction. But uh, yeah, restrictions. These cards have restrictions, and everything works out. Fiendus, guess what? Once per turn. You can quick effect negate once per turn. We just got the news that Barone is going out. Now, I said all that because Barone should go out. Barone should go out because it's a generic monster. There's no restrictions for getting that monster out on the field. Even with Wind Witch, you get all the stuff on the field. You can create a Barone that's not only immune to card destruction, but immune to battle destruction. Oh, yeah, you can do that. You can create that card. And if you got something way to continually flip her up and down, guess what? She's invincible. Yeah, because she can negate every turn or recycle her Omni negate. Even something like Shiyu. Shiyu has a restriction. Once Shiyu uses that Omni negate, guess what? That full power that she uses to be able to stop something like that transforms her back into House Dragon Maid. Okay? That is, you know, that's a restriction. That's a fair one. I know some people say, well, it's the same as Barone. Oh, Barone. Yeah, but Barone don't lose any power. Barone can still destroy, and Barone can still send herself back to the extra deck while also summoning a monster from the graveyard. I know some people will argue that what is the difference between Barone and Shiyu? There is a difference. Shiyu can only be has a specific summoning condition. She has a very specific summoning condition. Barone does not. You get Jet Synchron, you get Ash Blossom, you get any of the Cash Terror monsters. Special summon them, then throw Ash Blossom down. Barone. You can even easily make a Barone with Altergeist. I think the only monster, this is probably the only monster that could be summoned without that's generic for the Altergeist. The special summoning part of it, when an opponent special summon monster declares an attack, you return one Altergeist monster to your hand. That's Altergeist exclusive. But its other mechanic of if this card is tributed, it can special summon itself from the grave. That's not. You can put that in anything. And if you have a deck where you're constantly tributing things, well, guess what? You get free tributes once you get this on the field. You get one free tribute per turn. Even if this is on the field and somebody either kaiju's you or uh, lava golems you or sphere mode you or whatever, right back on the field. Right back on the field. And if it survives to the next turn, well, guess what? It's reset. Dragon Maid, Wind Witch. This is a generic one, but even still, the effects are about Wind Witch. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the target's Wind Witch monster. You target Wind Witch monster you control, special summon one from your hand with a level less than. What's this? Synchro summoned. Yeah, generic, but you can target one Wind Witch or whatever, and you can only use Wind Witch Diamond Bell once per turn. Once per turn, when they take battle damage or whatever, the Wind Witch summoning this with a Wind Witch is what gives it the double effect. You could summon this and it'll just have that once per turn. Two flip monsters. Now, that's a little more generic, if you will, but even still, the effects are for Subterra monsters. You can flip monster from your hand, send flip monster. Actually, it's really more so for just flip monsters in general, not just Subterra. So theoretically, you could use this with something like Shadal, which, stay tuned. Alter guys. Even this effect, if you use multi faker, the same turn you use her summon from the deck effect, you can't use her special effect of summoning a monster from the opponent's graveyard because of multi faker's restriction. Look at this. You contribute one other Altergeist monster. Now she can get on the field and do other things, but at the same time, Altergeist monsters have to be is the reason she's there in the first place. This is something that's generic. Anything that's face down or whatever, they gain the attack boost or whatever. What else? The one of my favorite traps is actually slept on. Not this. Well, it's not the trap, but Parthian Shot, which shows Archer riding Fiendus Behemoth. This is a great card. This is generic. Anybody could use this. Anybody could use this. But this is how archetypes should be built. And even still, they could use a couple things that help them out. Like for starters, this should count as an Altergeist card, but it doesn't. This should count as a Subterra card, but it doesn't. This should count as a Subterra card, but it doesn't. Neither does this. I mean, it's got them in the artwork, but still. But effects like and this one, they're all geared towards those people. Who else has got something? I know Sweet Roommate, anybody could use that. But that's not a Dragon Maid specific card. And tidying could be used. One of the effects from tidying could be used for any dragon monster. I've used that on Guru to bounce a card. Um, but you know, anyway, man, holler back at me, like, share, subscribe. Tell me your comments. Tell me how you feel. Because for me, this is how I feel. This is what archetypes should be like. They should have restrictions. They should be geared towards that. You could throw maybe one or two other cards in there, but people throw in stuff that has nothing to do with whatever. I saw somebody playing vampires in a Pearly deck. It's like, what? You summoned out the vampire master XYZ monster that has nothing to do with any of that. It wasn't Pearly, it was something else, but still. Anyway, man, holla.